Look at this guy that showed up last night in this small lot of figures that I purchased that were described as Western Roy Rogers figures. But I'll tell you, this guy fits perfectly in the ideal fix-it convertible. He's about a 5-inch scale figure made of a hard plastic that really, to me, looks like he was molded to fit behind the wheel of a car more than sit on a stagecoach. Uh, Take a look. I'll show you. I mean, his feet even look like they're supposed to be down there near the pedals, and his hand even looks like it's kind of supposed to be near the wheel. Anyway, I don't really know the origin or date of this particular figure, but he certainly fits and looks perfect with the ideal fix-it convertible. There are a couple other figures in the lot. One figure that I got in the lot was this. I thought that he's of note because we are looking at ideal products here today. But this is the Roy Rogers Stagecoach, the ideal fix-it Stagecoach figure, which is also in about a 5-inch scale, but he's made of a soft vinyl. Can you see how soft he is? So this is from 1955. But we'll talk more about him and that Stagecoach in a later video. Right now we're looking at the Fix-It Convertible, and also we'll look a little bit at the XP600 Car of Tomorrow from 1953. So the red convertible that we're looking at here with the driver is from 1951. In an earlier video, I think I identified it as 1952. I think that was incorrect. I think it's from 1951. The reason why I think that is because of the license plate. Let's look at it. The license plate says California 1951. It's a rusted chromed metal. The only areas that you can really see where the chrome stands out are the areas that were mated up against the plastic for 5 or 6 decades, more like 6.5 decades, I think. So every other spot is rusted of the metal. This interesting message on the bottom. So when I first saw this, I thought that it was an old piece of cardboard or thick paper. I had no clue that it was actually made of metal until I really got it in hand and was trying to take the whole vehicle apart to clean it. But it's metal, so it's kind of strange. But it's 1951, so I believe the car's from 1951. Geez, I'm having a hard time getting it in there from this angle. Maybe that'll be it. So let's look over here. The other car we're going to look at today is this car from 1953, which is also an ideal fix-it car. Let's see if we can back out of this. Here, there we go. So this is the car that came 2 years later after that red car that we just looked at, and it is the ideal fix-it Car of Tomorrow, the XP600. So this car had a battery box underneath, and it had the ability to switch on lights, and also it had a horn, blow your horn. I love the graphics on this box. It's big. It's a beauty. So this is it had many of the same attributes as the earlier car. It was you had the ability to change the wheels, add fluids. There wasn't as much of that in this car, interestingly enough. The other car has more things to do with the engine. This car has the electrical parts. So this car is also a bit larger. So I would say this car is more in a 6-inch scale. We'll see that in a second when we put in these Marx figures, which are a little under 6 inches. Now, they look to fit more in scale with this car. So let's see if I can pull this car out of the box. First, let's look at these license plates. So unlike that red car, this car came with more than one license plate. This car came with 13, but none of them affixed to the back of the car. They're a thick, like cardstock paper. I don't really see if there. I don't notice. To me, it doesn't look like there's any adhesive in there. They don't look like they're stickers, which is just for it to be only 2 years later. It's strange that there's such a stark difference in how they were approaching the license plate situation. So this car came with these 13 paper license plates from 13 different states, all dated 1953. 13 being the favorite number of Sarah Winchester, the wealthy heiress of the Winchester rifle baron, William Winchester. I think there's most of the staircases have 13 steps. Most of the drains in the sinks have 13 slots. The windows have 13 panes. I think her will had 13 addendums and she signed it 13 times. Well, we have 13 license plates. We have Texas, 1953. Wisconsin, America's Dairyland. Montana, 53, the Treasure State. After mentioning Miss Winchester, this is also kind of a trip through numerology because now we're looking at all 13 of the plates. There is an aspect of spookiness to these old toys, in my opinion. Oh, I like the Oregon one. I really like this. Isn't this Delaware one? Is really interesting. I've never seen this plate before. Alabama, 53. Interesting as well. A lowercase c. Colorful Colorado, 1953. That's a bright plate. Michigan. Georgia, the Peach State. That's a cool plate. Look at that, the last one. California. So this car had the ability to have the lights turn on and the horn blow. I took this car, really have done some work on this car. So I got this car, came with the original box, both axles broken, only 3 wheels. The parts in the electrical box are not complete, and they were falling apart. So I took the thing. I had to take the axles out completely. The axles were made of kind of this pot metal, and they were square rods. They're the same in the bottom of the red convertible. So these cars are fairly heavy, and portions of the construction in the bottom of the cars are made of this metal. So both of the axles on this car had completely deteriorated, and they were like crumbled into pieces inside of this box in the bottom of the car that we'll look at in a second. And so I had to do some work to take them apart. So this is a temporary fix. Just to see down here, I don't even want to turn it upside down because I don't want it to fall apart. So I just used a piece of plastic sprue as a new axle in the front and the back. I only have three wheels for this car. I have the 4 wheels in the red car. The red car is in probably better condition with the exception of that hood, but it came with all the original wheels, including the spare. This car just came with these 3 wheels, missing a 4th wheel. Having not actually having seen these cars in person, I assumed that they were of the same scale. They're only 2 years apart, so I thought that I would be able to use my spare from the red convertible to fix the blue convertible, but the blue convertible is in a larger scale. Let's take a look at it. It really is a beautiful thing. If plastic had patina, these cars would have it, is how I would describe it. So I don't have the antenna on this car either. There's the trunk of this car. Here's the tool that these cars came with. That's made of that same kind of old brittle pot metal that I described to you earlier, that just kind of, I guess, fell apart or broke fairly easily. But this particular one is completely intact. So this car needs some work, obviously, but it is a beautiful, beautiful design and just a beautiful car. So what I think Ideal was doing here is both of these cars are kind of, I think, skirting licensing by actual automotive companies. I think the first red convertible is kind of a combination of a 1950 Bel Air or a 1950 Buick. And the rear of the car, I'll show you in a second, those fins are definitely from a Cadillac. So this car, is that the best that hood can do? So I think this car is kind of, there it goes, is a combination of a Thunderbird and a Corvette, and then maybe some sort of European car, right? Because it kind of looks like a Austin Healey or an Austin Martin or a Fiat or something. You see what I mean when we look at the hood. Sorry about that audio. It's a big car. This is about 16 inches long. So you can see you saw those lights, and so this, the back of the car is missing the lights. It even look at that symbol is pretty close to a Mercedes symbol on the back there. So take a look at the convertible. What I was saying about the convertible. So it looks like a Chevy or a Buick in the front, and see what I mean about those fins that look like a Cadillac in the back. So I really like both of these cars. The quality of the plastic, if I could explain it, it's really similar to Mark's plastic of the same era. It's heavy, it's dense, it's got that kind of waxy quality to it. There's something about it that made it resistant to decades and decades and decades. The colors are bright. The colors run through and through, apparently, in this plastic mix that they made. This chemical from the 1950s that has lasted. That's it for this video. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. And let's see if we can do a close-up in on him. Have a great day.